Yes, yeah. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another insightful session by LeadSquared. Today's session is about how OEMs, component manufacturers, and dealers can work smarter using data, AI, and digital processes. We've got a fantastic panel with us. I'd like to start with introductions. First up, we have Mr. Ashish Thakur, CIO at Cummins India. Ashish has been with Cummins for over 7 years, leading IT strategy and digital transformation across divisions. With 17 years of experience in manufacturing and automotive, he's been central to reshaping how these companies run digitally. Next up, we have Mr. Nagharajhan, head of Digital Twin at TAFE. He brings more than 2 decades of expertise in digital transformation and software engineering. Before this, he played key roles at Ford and Hyundai, driving technology adoption in global automotive brands. Next up, we have Mr. Satish, CTO at Lumax Auto Technologies. Satish is passionate about everything automotive with decades of technology experience and leadership behind him. He has worn many hats, from heading strategy to building innovative products that shape the industry. Lastly, moderating this session, we have Mr. Anil Kumar, VP of Enterprise Businesses at LeadSquared. Anil has spent more than a decade in digital consulting, working closely with some of the largest automotive and manufacturing firms. He's known for looking at the big picture and designing solutions that align with the customer's reality. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking our time and joining the session. With that, let's dive into our discussion. We'll be covering about partnership models, data-driven personalization, omni-channel strategies, AI-driven sales and inventory, and digitization across dealerships. And before I step out, I would like to request our audience to drop in any questions that you have in the question box, and our panelists will take up the questions towards the end of the session. Over to you, Anil.
Thank you so much for the warm introduction, Ashna. I'm really excited to be here with the panel today. Auto industry is moving fast, margins are tight, customers expect more, technology is changing how dealers, how OEMs work together. I think in today's session, our goal is very simple. Talk about what's working, what are the gaps, how can we build stronger partnerships for the road ahead. So let's dive into the discussion point. So the first point is basically on reinventing partnership models for margin resilience. And the question is for you, Ashish and Satish. How do partnership models evolve in an ecosystem where OEM and component manufacturers are tightly linked?
Okay, so maybe I'll go ahead in the first thing. So it's a good question asked because the relationships models are not just based on transaction of components or anything that we are doing from historical basis, but I think the relationship model has gone to a particular level and is going to increase further where data exchange and information exchange is becoming a core heart of anything that the component manufacturers and the OEMs are working with, because a lot of those efficiencies, supply chain efficiencies, a lot of those planning, working on the core competencies is something which is becoming a part of the core partnership. And when we talk about as a component manufacturer, our efficiencies are not just based on what we execute or what we do, or it also depends on how suppliers are coming on to us, how our OEMs are working, partnering with us, and what is the level of information sharing that is happening between the organizations. So I think both sides of the organizations actually realize the importance of these days now that the partnership has to be where that information exchange becomes the core heart of any transaction or any interaction that happens between them. And that actually drives the efficiencies and leading up to the margins and the resiliency that you're talking about. That's what my view is. Satish, you want to add?
Thanks, Ashish. Actually, very pertinent points. So, my view historically has been that OEMs and suppliers relationship were, very adversarial on cost negotiations. So, like Ashish rightly pointed out, and also in the introduction, Jamil, you said the cost negotiations and the cost margins are so wafer thin that we need to figure out how you will survive. Yeah. And with electrification, driverless systems, and connected services, the cost pressure actually goes up in my view. Yeah? Somehow this impression that software costs nothing is not true. It's like in some form, it's like a bank from which you're drawing cash out without realizing where you'll end up in your money. But I think going forward, it will be critical for us to look at how risk sharing and co-creating innovation is taken forward. Yeah. So the idea would be to go from a cost-centric to maybe a value-centric partnership. Some examples, I mean, you have the concept of modular platforms or revenue sharing models. You have joint R&D activities that are happening in certain OEMs. Then you have certain cases also globally on risk pooling through strategic alliances. So let's say the tier one is investing in battery, but the OEM picks up a certain percentage of that tier one venture in some form. I think with more of electronics and software, there's also, I mean, in addition to the data exchange that Ashish spoke about, there's a lot of digital ecosystem collaboration. So you need to have a way where you have your infrastructures are also integrated digitally. So these are various forms in which we are trying to figure out how we can get better over time. So
I think thanks Satish, thank Ashish. I think the question will follow on data sharing and personalized customer journeys. So I think here we would need contribution from all three of you. Let's say from your perspective, how can the vehicle data, let's say like the data which comes from telematics, the data which comes at the shop floor in the manufacturing process, we can connect to the dealership systems and we can get more personalized services for end customers. I would like to have some opinion there from all three of you. I think that'll be very insightful for the audience.
is it okay if I go first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I think from a component manufacturer's perspective, this is, I think, the game changer because the value is shifting from selling components or parts to selling reliability, uptime, customer experience, and all of this. Yeah. So all the software aspects, as you'd call it in former times. So there are many use cases. Of course, you have predictive maintenance of critical components. You have potentially enhanced aftermarket support and also inventory optimization. So these are use cases. You can have performance tuning where you have the possibility to update something over the air digitally. You can tune your setups better. You have the possibility also to do root cause analysis, which means warranty cost reduction possibly is a use case. The only thing I have in mind always is how is the data governance regulation going to be? But I think that's a $1 million question. But these are all use cases at least that I foresee. I'll hand it over to Nagarajan sir or Ashish.
Nagarajan sir, I think you're on mute.
Is it audible? Clear?
Yes, loud and clear. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So, thank you and good evening to Anandal. And myself, Nagarajan, and I am coming from TAFE. So, and here I am serving as a head of digital twin. And to me, data is the core and data is the heart, which we are working on day-to-day basis. So what we do as part of R&D, right? And like as you are particularly into telematics. So, and as a tractor manufacturer, we are getting the data directly from the field. Okay. So the data, what we are getting, right? So we are getting enormous data. It is about the fuel consumptions. It is about how the emission is being like controlled. It is about how the implement is like working in the field, and we are able to track whatever the parameters which we are interested to track. Okay, so to us, data getting is not a problem. Okay, to us, understanding the insights, and after understanding the insights, so what is the benefit that we are adding to the design is the opportunity that we have in front of the like complete ecosystem. Okay, so with those data, are we are just aligning with the experts and understanding, yeah, this is what the requirement of a expert, or like, are you moving to the next step, connecting it with the LLM, understanding the hidden insights, which experts by themselves, where they don't have the opportunity to explore. So that is how we are looking into stuff. And by the way, it is providing lot of hidden insights. Even experts cannot interrupt in the way what the LLMs or AI that is supporting us. So collecting data or getting an infrastructure to collect the data or like understanding about the data is maybe to us is not the biggest problem. The biggest problem is, yes, you have the data in your hand, and what is the analysis that you are going to do, and how this analysis is helping the organization. Are you just following the traditional approach saying, yeah, this is the fuel consumption that is coming out of the field? Or you went to the next step using AI, using LLM, and identifying what are the factors that is affecting the fuel injection. It is because of the soil property, or it is because of the implement, or it is because of so and so other reasons. Okay, so that is how we are connecting the data, and our primary focus is like getting the insights more than like accumulating the data and having the volume of the data. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's very nicely said by both of them. I actually was thinking what to add, but I can just add few things here. I actually divide this problem statement into two parts. One is to have that personalized customer journey itself. I think most of the manufacturers have reached to that space where the organization plus the dealers and plus any other channel through which they are selling, they're capturing all the touch points at a single platform. I think that's the base, and that's what I think Nagarajan is saying, that okay, we are good with that. So most of the companies are at that particular space in India specifically, where they're capturing a customer journey when the customers start talking to you till the time they purchase a product, either interacting directly with the company or with the dealer and everything. And when you bring in the telematics data on top of it, or any sensors data that the machine is throwing through or the product is throwing through, that actually takes it the next top niche. What is missing and what is the thing that we need to add right now is the actionable insights on top of it. And the best part can be if the actionable insights are directly coming into those platforms which are given to manage the transactions, rather than we taking it separately out and doing analysis and publishing it separately. I actually personally feel the true power comes in of this personalized customer journey is that you have a common platform where everyone is working and the actionable insights are generated, that okay, now is the time to go and service because the particular X product is supposed to go down. And that's where the field engineer or the technician already has a mobile app in the hand and they get it then and there only. That's where we need to move towards. And customers themselves will start appreciating on the personalized impact that they're going to get with this particular overall value chain when it will come together. That's the only thing I can talk about. And making sense of this data is what Nagarajan is talking about, which is where I think most of the organizations are right now.
No, that's brilliant. I think I would agree with you if, let's say, this is integrated with the DMS and the CRM systems, which people work actually on the ground. And if, let's say, some sort of nudge or communication is set, I think it can do wonders for sure. So I think this makes me move to the next question, which is on omni-channel strategies for hybrid consumer behavior. So I think we all keep discussing about omni-channel, and it is often discussed in retail. Uh, what role an auto component manufacturers can play in enabling OEMs and dealers to deliver customer experience consistently from let's say omni-channel strategy? And Ashish and Satish, I think this I would basically put across to you people uh, to help the audience. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Ashish. Um, I only want to say that, digital product data and rich content across all channels is the only answer today. So there's no other way to survive. I mean, in terms of the role that a component manufacturer, look, what we are trying to do is we're trying to see if we can provide high quality digital assets. Yeah, so that means 3D visual specs. In certain cases, also augmented reality ready hardware. So that it can be used across OEM websites, dealerships, and in certain cases also in-vehicle interfaces. Yeah? So that's the first thing that I can do. Second one is I need to ensure consistent technical details and compatibility of data across dealers, e-commerce, service portals, and series production information that goes to the owner. So that's, I think, one thing I can do. Broadly speaking, I'll have to open up. So the automotive industry in India has been fairly closed from my perspective. Yeah, and I say this because I've come into the Indian ecosystem only about 6 months ago. Before this, I was always in global organizations. And what I mean by closed is now we are waking up or opening up to the idea of how to integrate across digital workspaces across the supply chain. So from an OEM perspective, what kind of connected and mobile app information needs to be provided? What should a component manufacturer who provides a component that constitutes to a connected information? Telematics control unit is one example, maybe infotainment systems. How do I then uh, ensure that this information goes also to dealer management system? And why dealer management is important is in terms of maintenance, after sales, the predictability associated to it, because that has a direct impact then on inventory management. So from that perspective, I can say that the supply chain needs to open up to the idea of data transparency, ensuring that what you sell is basically available also in a digital format. When you have the concepts of digital twins that needs to be integrated across the supply chain, right? So we use that in R&D quite a bit. I think we need to wake up to the idea of using it now as regular business, so that it's not just the component level data, but also the component manufacturer's role that gives predictability and also analytical information for the end user. So you have the end user, you have the OEM, you have the tier one, and then tier two, so on and so forth, right? So you need to have some kind of a, let's call it a digital passport of all this information that's flowing through to the end vehicle. So that's at least the role that I see for a component manufacturer like ours. Ashish.
I think well said. I'll actually try to summarize in few statements, and very nicely said, Satish, because data transparency is one of the key things out here. I think the time frame is now and it's been there, at least in India, because I've been in India. So I think a lot of solutions have been built in. One of the key things that the organizations have now started looking, and we should do more, and we are doing it here nicely, is to take a step back and look for a connected systems and a connected approach rather than just thinking about solving that one particular problem, because omni-channel is an output of how do you reach out to the customers in that particular sense, and the information is available to them at all the places. Same, very important for us as an organization is to think holistically and have to think about as a connected systems, and so that the processes are connected, information flow is fine and everything. That actually, if, and we can see, and I've seen it, most of the organizations have started doing it, and the more they are doing it, the customers are getting that omni experience. And whenever now you go and buy products across, you can see that the same information you're getting in a WhatsApp, you're getting in the mobile apps, you're getting on the websites and everything. And even if you go in person, you will have a similar talked about you, because the organizations have started talking about those connected ecosystem that is very, very important for omni-channel, is what I feel.
I think perfect, Ashish. And since Satish, you touched upon AR VR, I think I think the next one is for Nagarajan sir. See, you're already driving a lot of efficiency and quality internally by, let's say, putting simulations in the manufacturing process. Do you also see a future where, let's say, these simulations can become part of customer experience? So let's say I as a customer went to your store to buy one of your products. Uh, can it be shown how the vehicle is built by using AR VR to tell the brand quality and the sustainability story?
Yeah, see, definitely. Like before the AI is getting popular, maybe around 2018 or 2019. So this CR, VR or metaverse is one of the buzzes where people started like speaking about, where people started exploring about the technology. But again, the problem is same. Yeah, technology is there. You need headset or you need some kind of mobile device. Yes, and finally, what is the problem that you are going to solve? Okay, so that is the opportunity that we have to first understand. Yes, the technology is there, and is the technology that is going to be just an answer, or is the technology that adds value? This is the differentiation that yeah, all should have. That is where our approach when I am leading the XR COE at Ford. So we were closely working with like multiple teams across the domains, and we were able to understand the use case. It is not just like providing experience, okay? So it is about providing values. Yes, obviously experience is one of the factor, but on for it, the value is the like core thing that we have to identify as part of our delivery. Okay. So with that, like this is how we have developed a ecosystem, and the ecosystem is just like this. Okay. So imagine that like someone is buying a vehicle. Okay. So it can be a car or it can be a truck or whatever it is. Okay. But it is the biggest decision. People are investing money. Okay. So right now, like if they want to understand how the vehicle is being built, and if they want to understand what kind of manufacturing that their own vehicle was processed, and if they want to understand what are the quality checks that the vehicle is being inspected, so these are the things. These are right now communicated orally, or right now we are like maybe answering through some kind of brochures or papers or some kind of medias. But again, the person who is investing, right, the customers. So are we giving the right information? Are we giving the transparent information with them? So that becomes the opportunity. Okay. So considering that, we were able to develop a pipeline. So the pipeline is like providing a online experience of maybe booking a vehicle. So that is what we tried. And as we like started the progress, so we were able to develop or build an ecosystem with the AR VR, or maybe the enhanced version of current the experience what we have in HTML or the web page. Okay, it can be a WebXR, so something like that, which you can connect. So with that, you can consider it like a Amazon or Flipkart. As you click on the buy button, then there comes or there is some magic that happens. It will be automatically navigating from like your phone static screen into a digital ecosystem or into a immersive world. So through the immersive world, assume that your camera will be fixed, and with the camera like that is available, you are able to visualize your own vehicle that is being built, and you can see how the chassis is being welded with robots, and how it is being painted in the paint shop, and finally how the trims are being assembled in the assembly line. Okay, so there is again like cost involved. There is again some part of integration is involved, and again there is like the volume of the data that is coming for each VIN number that is coming for each user is again big. So we have to understand how good is the like experience that we are giving the user, and what kind of sales increase that we are expecting through the immersive experience or the experience that we are envisioning with this kind of WebXR technology. Okay, so throughout the ecosystem, a customer can experience, yes, this is the manufacturing process that is involved in their own vehicle, and this is how it is being crafted with the paint which they have as in the form of some maybe art, and this is how it is being inspected. So whether it is being inspected like a torture test, or it is being inspected just like a random test. So the closeness what we have with our customers before the traditional approach with paper and brochure, and the like closeness which we are expecting to have with the digital medium is really like the involvement, the experience, how the customer feels is really adding value. But again, so it is about the cost, or it is about the volume, it is about what is the percentage that this medium is helping, and how it is contributing to the like increase in sales, and how it is adding value for the customers to look into our own product comparing with the competitor product, about the manufacturing process, about the features that has been added in the vehicle, and the like inspection that has been like inbuilt or embedded into the system. So again, there are like things that we have to take as part of organization so that it becomes a value added stuff, adding simulation into each of our maybe functions or verticals or whatever it is.
Very well said, sir. I think I'll move to, since you touched upon AI, I think the next one is on AI. So AI-driven lead and inventory management. Satish, I think I'll start with you. AI is changing demand and forecasting and supply chain management. So how is Lumix leveraging AI, let's say, to align efficiency, to align inventory, reduce inefficiencies, and respond to OEMs because the demands are changing rapidly?
Um, Before I just answer your question, I just want to add on to what Nagarajan already said. So we use augmented reality for a very simple use case. See, with AI and the way digitization is moving, one of the challenges that organizations like, I mean, all three of ours, I'm assuming, as is with people transformation. Okay. So augmented reality is used quite extensively by us to train people even before they are put on production lines or manufacturing lines, and also to help them understand concepts of smart manufacturing and things like that. Coming to AI, okay, so actually, whatever you can say is not enough. So what we do within Lumax in a small form is we do AI-powered demand forecasting, of course. We try and do some real-time inventory alignment. We are trying to now monitor supplier lead times, understanding geopolitical and weather risks based on news updates. We are trying to understand what kind of logistical congestions will we have. And last but not the least, we are using it for raw material price volatility. Yeah. So these are different areas in which we are trying to use AI. But when I say trying to use AI, please understand that by no means am I claiming that we have mastered this activity as such. It's an experiment on a daily basis. One place where I feel that we have a hold of how to implement AI is predictive aftermarket planning. Yeah? So in terms of what does the aftermarket possibly need. So Lumax has a big aftermarket business. Yeah? So we need to be able to predictably forecast what might the market ecosystem need, what should be available on the shelves, therefore what should be the manufacturing capacity, things like that. We're using AI now for predictive aftermarket planning. So these are some of the areas where we are using it. I can also tell you that this is simply not enough. I keep saying that AI should be used not just in R&D, but also in support functions like HR. Wherever you have the possibility of repetitive tasks being replaced, you should do it. But then it is easier said than done. I mean, I'll just stop by saying one of the challenges with AI now for us is, I mean, Ashish will probably understand this very well. So the Lumax CIO constantly has this challenge that people reach out to some external website for AI, sometimes not realizing the exposing or what kind of cyber risks you are exposing the organization to. So this is the other side. We are trying very hard to balance, but I have to also say that for the manufacturing industry, AI is not always seen as an opportunity. So there is a huge cultural mindset shift that you have to work on before you start introducing tools and automating processes. But we are at all three phases of this transformation at this point in time, depending upon whom you speak to. But yeah, maybe Ashish and Nagaraj have something better to add.
No, I think brilliant, Satish. I think I'll throw next one to Ashish. So Ashish, Cummins, we all know, right? Cummins is deeply tied to parts, service, distribution. How do you see, let's say, AI reshaping demand forecasting, inventory optimization, all of that in your domain?
Yep. Thank you. Before I actually answer this a little bit, at Cummins, building on to what Satish said, the safety and security is so important that we are actually defining the guardrails first on where to use AI and what to use. And because sometimes people don't know what content is going on and they end up losing that content. So we actually worked on policies first, Satish, on fixing out and putting up the guardrails so that people really understand and educating people on that side. Because this complete AI wave came in so strong that from a cultural change perspective, I have a different view that people are ready to use it. Like for them, it should have been there way too early and we are late. That's the scenario. So that's one thing. Going back to the question that you asked, NLV, definitely from our perspective, the distribution space is where we are looking at a lot on all these aspects that you talked about, lead management, inventory optimizations, forecasting on the demand side a little bit. We are actually the best thing that we are trying to do is connecting all the data sets and see that how the leads conversions and everything can be improved. That has been one of the basic use cases where I think the POCs have moved ahead a little bit already. Majorly is on the inventory optimization. And that's where I'll tell you, this is where an important thing comes into space, that AI can still go and tell what to do to optimize inventory and everything, but it depends on the human being to take that action. And that's one of been my realizations, that you can build up those models and bring up those all the suggestions that AI can throw in, that how do you optimize inventory based on multiple factors, market demands and everything, and availability, and even the seasonality. We have done some part of those things. And a lot depends on educating people that, oh, you can try and take this action and see how does it work on optimizing the inventory based on top of it. So a lot of our efforts actually went into phases. One is to building these logics, and second is to actually training people that try and use the actionables that are coming around. And we have seen some great outcomes coming out of there, is what I can say, specifically in the inventory optimization for our channel partners.
Wonderful. And I think on the AI front, I think I would like to go a little further. So, Nagarajan sir, you have implemented AI-driven defect detection using computer vision in the manufacturing lines. What was the biggest business, or let's say operational benefit, that you have derived from that initiative?
Yeah, very good. See, like as part of Ford, we started this initiative way back maybe in 2018. And like right now, like during those time, it was just maybe a gossip how computer vision with AI can like fuse together, and how will it add value. So that was the question initially we had. Then later we understand about like we don't want to just invest on infrastructures just in the name of training, just in the name of like the resolution of cameras in order to identify the defects. So we understand the in-depth of how a computer vision works and how the AI is classified. So that is where we started, and we started with the MVP, the minimum viable product. So with that, we were able to like consider iPhone as our edge device. Okay, and considering that as edge device, and like to most of the consumers, iPhone is just a communication device. But for us, it is a camera. It is a camera which has enough features that are hidden, and you have to trigger those features through the API which the iPhone has, and which is available. And you have to understand how to build or how to enable that maybe plugins, or how to enable that maybe event or whatever it is. Okay, so that is one core thing that we understood, and the reason why we chose iPhone is that it is because of the data security. So, even we can also like target some of the webcams, or maybe with some of the Android devices. So compared with all, we feel iPhone has some good captions about the security, some good options about the data transfer, the latency, and finally how it is being used as a edge device. Okay, so that is how we were able to segregate and finally land up saying, yeah, iPhone is the device. And later, like on the software side, we understand, yes. So now iPhone is just a camera. We need a brain to make those camera to make decisions. So we are thinking in a process how to like develop that brain. And that brain is a customized brain. Okay, so meaning, for example, if you are trying to put a uh, maybe defect identification camera in one station, then your scope should be just restricted to that station. You have to have the data, whatever the defects that are bound to occur within that station. So we don't want to dump the system. We don't want to dump like have some like additional processing that makes the iPhone not to respond. So considering all, we understand, yes, this should be portable, this should be like flexible, and this should be even transferable from one station to the other station. So that is how we were able to like give the architecture for the like ML development. And third part is the integration part, where what we did, how like we will be integrating this and how we'll be supplying those so-called edge as brains. So that is again one of the opportunities or one of the patterns like we understand, and that is again the patent which we were able to pursue. So it is right now in public. Maybe you can search out my name and you can understand. So with that, we were able to develop the failures in the form of like synthetic images. And with those failures, with those like maybe OK or NOK data, we were able to mix it up and we were able to develop the brains pertaining to that particular station. And we were able to like package that as a maybe a simple file which is compatible with the iPhone APIs. So that is how we were able to build, and that system becomes a portable system, and that becomes a opportunity for us how to leverage AI and how we can like deploy it across multiple stations and what is the benefit that it going to add. So this is how the entire architecture is being done. Then initially we tested around 5 to 10 stations, and we were able to understand, yes, the performance is good, latency is good, and the accuracy of how it captures the defect is good, and it is making decision by itself. So that is how we were like able to package, build the system, make it flexible, educate the people so that it act like a low code, no code like solutions, and it was able to like replicate in multiple plans, multiple use cases, and that is how we were able to take it and club it together. And finally, like this becomes one of the like effective solutions in identifying the defects directly in the line, and even you can trigger the PLC to stop the line if there is a problem. That is again like a trigger based event that you can program it together with PLC or MES or whatever it is. So that is based on the plant requirement. If you want to stop, fix there, you can fix it. Or if there is like a connector issue which is not fixed, so which you can like give the information to the next like operator at the next station who can like fix it in a proper way. So these are some kind of strategies. These are some kind of some maybe good practices that we have learned over a period of time, and now it becomes a flexible system where we were able to cascade this across multiple stations or multiple plants. So uh, like in a nutshell, our understanding is before going and before choosing a infrastructure, just understand what are you like trying to solve. And our experience is we have like see myself like I am a coder, so I can even build a system to understand myself how the system needs to be architecture. Then once you have some benefits, some understanding about how it works, whether it is working as per the expectation, whether it is working as per the architecting. So those are the opportunities that you can do everything at the MVPs. And based on the knowledge what you have, you can take it to the scalable systems or maybe the enterprise system, whatever we need, then we can scale it out. So that is how we are segregating things and we are scaling up. So by the way, it becomes one of the very effective solution in arresting inline errors, inline issues, and helping us to avoid reworks. And it is helping us to again uh, produce some good product right at first time to our customers. Thank you.
This was brilliant. I was able to relate to every dot of it because I've worked in IoT for long, and I was able to relate completely. I think you explained the solution pretty much in detail. Just one follow-up question. So we have talked about manufacturing line solving operational efficiencies there. Do you also see potential of similar AI power systems to be used for faster pre-delivery inspections or trade-in evaluations? Do you see utility of these there also? Or maybe you've
Yeah.
already identified a use
See,
case?
yeah. See, right now, hello,
Yeah, you're audible, sir.
hello. Yeah, sorry. So, see, like the opportunity with AI is the understanding of AI is the opportunity. Okay. So, to my experience, what I will do is first understand what is the problem that I am going to solve. For example, if I am taking a warranty data, yes, warranty data is already there. It is already registered in a system. It can be, again, your own system like TeamSquare, or it can be SAP, or it can be whatever it is. Okay. So, are we getting the insights that is like already embedded into the data sets? Are we just land up with some basic graph saying, yeah, this is where the geography distribution is, this is where the warranty cost per month is, or this is where the maybe the distribution based on maybe dealer wise or maybe based on season wise. Okay. No, that is not the thing that you have to consider. So as if you are trying to induce AI into warranty, then you have to look into different things. Meaning, if there is a dealer command, that if dealer is writing in a colloquial language, assume that a Punjab dealer is writing saying, yeah, so there is a water leak issue, and there is a issue maybe because of noise or because of something. So these are colloquial language, so which you have to understand, and there comes you have to understand what is the AI that you are going to use there. So the AI again to like a person who has knowledge in that, he can very well connect. Yes, text mining can be one opportunity. Then you can apply text mining, and inside text mining there are several algorithms. So what you are going to do, how you go like going to convert those colloquial language into the structured data, or how you are going to convert those like maybe local languages into a form where you are able to segregate and make it valuable. So that is how you have to first interrupt with the AI with algorithms, and you have to understand, yes, yeah, instead of just saying, yeah, I am using predictive analytics, understanding the warranty claim. No, our approach should not be like that. We have to understand, yes, one on the dealer commands, I have to use this, and make it structure. Yeah, one is this. And second thing, yeah, predictive analytics can be one option. And this one. Then try with a like less volume of data. You don't need to again go with a massive amount, and see whether the accuracy and whether the maybe the insights is matching with your real happenings or the real time data. So for example, if someone is writing as leak issue, so you have to like correlate it with the real time saying, is the leak issue being repeated? Is the leak issue is being repeated at this particular season, at this particular field, at this particular so and so? So once you have this, and if your data matches, then you have the opportunity, you have to scale it up. So the approach should be, yes, you should have a person who is connecting the core engineering, who is trying to like understand the AI person, who can club what kind of AI should be used, what kind of insights that AI is helping us to solve. Then based on that, we can define the use case. Then to me, always infrastructure is the like final part where we can select whichever the infrastructure is. So you can think about whatever it is. So whether it is PDI or it is the R&D or it is manufacturing, use case can be anything. And you don't need to again think about whether data is structured, unstructured. So like as the LLM comes up, as the RAG being like leveraged. So right now we have a very big opportunity converting those unstructured data into a structured form. So that is how the text mining is helping us. And in order to induce our own data, the RAG comes into play. So this and all you can do with your own standalone application, standalone coding. So that is where the opportunity lies. So if there is a defect, if there is something at PDI, definitely you can understand the pattern saying PDI rework happens at at this station at the assembly line, or at this station at the paint line because of some like drift issues, or because of some water droplets, or because of so and so reasons. So you can able to arrive it, and you can able to like pass on the informations to the respective inline teams. So wherever the issue is getting originated, it is being arrested. So the opportunity is like you have to like connect with the basics, and you have to move on.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Nagarajan sir, for throwing in-depth details and light. I think I would also like to focus on the most essential part of this entire ecosystem, which is the dealership. So the other topic is streamlining dealership processes through digitization. So Ashish, Satish, we all understand, right? The dealership efficiency depends on the component availability and system integration, let's say with the OEMs. What have been some of the most effective digital interventions that you people have, let's say, done for simplifying complex sales and service processes?
So,
Perspective.
yeah, I'll actually start from a little basic. What we have done is very simple, which we've been talking about, is having one connected systems, which is common between the dealers and between us. So that is one of the things that has given us the biggest visibility to the dealers to run their operation and to us also. So eventually, it has helped both the side of the organizations of having one connected system across as a platform for the complete organizations plus the dealers. What we have kind of enabled to take it more effective on the parts availability and all those things is not just to focus on the platform, but also focus at what information is really available required for them to make quick decisions on the parts availability. Can they go back and commit customer that your parts is going to be available tomorrow or day after tomorrow, even if they don't have it. So that type of information availability based on the channel and the network, wherever the part is available, those type of things that we have focused a lot by working with our channel partners, that what is the key things that stops them to serve the customer or reach out in the market, and kind of try to provide solutions to that. That's the first thing that we have done. Second is taking it to a little next level on providing the next best actions for my sales and service team in the same platform with using, like, okay, they have done something, they're interacting with service and everything. What's the next best action for a particular type of service or a preventive check that we are doing? So those type of next best actions is what we are intelligently little populating and handing it over to our engineers, to our salespeople, and kind of providing them information at the right time, at the right place. That's the core heart of the theme that we have been running with, so that it becomes simple for them when they are actually interacting with the end customer. That's the theme, making it our customers' life easy, very important for us, and making easy for our people also. When I say our people, that includes the dealer partners and the channel partners, making it easy for them to have that information so that respond back, they can interact and everything. That has been the main focus, both in the sales and the service side of the organization.
Very well said, Ashish. I mean, don't know if I can add anything more other than the fact that we are also trying now to do auto replenishment
Yeah.
along with our dealers. I love what you said about building connected portals. So I'm a big fan of self-service portals where the dealers can at least check availability, place orders, track shipment data, etc. All I can say is within Lumax now, we really are in the middle of a cultural transformation. I think we're not a component or a product supplier anymore. We are a digital ecosystem enabler. So, in the traditional sense, dealers were not exactly a stakeholder that the automotive component manufacturer thought about on his or her own. On their own, it doesn't come to our minds. And now we are saying, no, this is an important aspect. And exactly like Ashish said, the idea is to think about how can we reduce the pain and enhance the experience of the end consumer. And the dealer is a very, very important part of that. It's not just the OEM always. So this is something that we are focusing on. But again, like I said, it's the biggest thing is to talk about ourselves as a digital ecosystem enabler, because then we can talk about data integration platforms, we can talk about predictive information being available, especially for their demand planning. And we are also now looking at what kind of remote calibration and service automation tools can be provided. So that's at least our thought process so far.
Brilliant. I couldn't think anything beyond that, what you people have mentioned. I think I also wanted to understand, let's say, as India is moving towards phygital, uh, uh, and how the approach, let's say, how this phygital approach shapes auto retail, and also how the hybrid behavior is impacting the B2B side. So, how should, let's say, the component manufacturers adapt to their operations to serve digitally advanced OEMs, or let's say traditional networks of dealership? Ashish, Satish, any thoughts there? I think that's another
I
area.
think, yeah, I know while the term phygital has come across and everyone is looking into it, I still feel we are a little away, based also on the type of model and the working model that we are working on to. There is only few areas where like new product introductions and everything, the companies can leverage, and they are leveraging at some of the areas where giving a glimpse and getting some feedbacks makes it simple for everyone, for the organizations. Otherwise, if you really see most of the places, it has been either physical or digital, is what I would say. Otherwise, the phygital space is somewhere, at least what I've seen, is more on only two areas. One is a new product or something service related has to be done, where a service has to be provided, and that's where is required. That's where the maximum efficiency, at least I would have seen. Satish, you can add if you would have seen something.
No, I think I mean, you're right. I mean, India has not yet come to that point. So I can only talk about my prior experience globally. You have what's called the digitally advanced OEMs, which talk about prioritizing connected ecosystem, over-the-air updates, data-driven supply chain, so on and so forth. I think India is still getting there. Let's put it that way. However, I think it's a future that we need to prepare ourselves in. What I am trying to do within Lumax is now trying to build a layered digital capability, yeah? And not a duplicate structure, which means I don't want to have an organization where you have a set of processes catering to the, let's say, the digitally advanced OEMs, and then you have another for the traditional OEMs. That's something we are not wanting to do. We want to make sure that the core processes stay unified. However, the customer-facing interfaces can change. Yeah, so that's basically how we are looking at it. We have not yet faced this problem on a daily basis, although like Ashish said, in certain cases, I can think about at least one OEM which is pushing us to get into this space. And this OEM is, let's say, fairly digitally advanced. And this is an area where we are trying to see, okay, what can we do to enable information exchange that needs to happen with this OEM. Right now, we are still at a phase of, let's say, RFI, RFQ, digitally advanced exchanges of information. We have not yet come to the point where we need to track, let's say, production information or have data transparency on those kinds of those aspects of business. So let's see, we'll get there, I think, in the next couple of years. But I think it is very important. I can only say that I think the idea is the goal should be to have a scalable data architecture where you have the possibility to have real-time APIs for your, let's say, digitally native OEMs customers. And for the traditional OEMs, you talk about reporting, which is batch uploads, PDFs, meaning digital in a different form. Yeah. So the differentiation between digitization and digitalization. So that's basically what we are trying to do. I think the biggest step is for every organization to first be digitally aware themselves before we talk about what we can do for organizations outside. And I say this because Lumax is at least we have two listed entities, and sometimes information exchange between these two listed entities itself can be difficult to manage. So we're trying to streamline and make sure that the processes that are implemented in both these listed entities are the same. So the end consumer experience should be the same. Yeah? So that's where actually the bulk of the work is happening. We are not yet looking outside because we still don't have anybody knocking on our doors to say, hey, you have to get digitally native fast. So
Brilliant, Satish. So, Satish, I think next one is for you, and I think we are right on time. So, you've worked with a lot of EV manufacturing facilities. So, what lessons can the passenger and the commercial vehicle retail network can take from the production side to prepare EV adoption at scale?
Oh, I think the first and foremost is with EV, unfortunately, the scope of business changes quite a bit, yeah.
Yes.
Because one third of the cost now of the vehicle is just the battery. So again, depending upon which OEM you speak to, somebody will tell you that I am going to build battery capabilities over the next couple of years, or somebody will say, no, I'm going to keep importing it from our best friend country that we have. So I think that plays a key role. But if you take that out, I think the most important form is to talk about how do we get to modular platformization, as I call it. Yeah? So from a production perspective, I think the digital ecosystem collaboration becomes extremely important because with electrification, you have the concept of software-defined vehicles, which means you will now have to manage what is called software part numbers, which is something that we have not been used to in the past. So that's a complication that will come. We are, this is my private view, we are, we have not yet understood the magnanimity of that problem. When you have different software part numbers in different models across different states or countries. So I think that will come, but I think at this point in time, people are only looking at, let's say, forming strategic alliances, risk pooling. We're talking about, in certain cases, also financial structures changing for shared risks. For example, we're talking about performance-based contracts, assuming the battery manufacturer is not the OEM. So there is a very diverse set. Um, what I personally like about electrification, I'm not a big fan of EVs. Let me put that out on the table. Um, the brilliant thing about electrification is it brings data into play a lot more into the open. And because of this, organizations have to adapt to the digital world far quicker than, let's say, the traditional business would have allowed. So I think that's the big change. Um, and of course, you have to now bring in economies of scale. So economies of scope was one thing, but you have to make sure that your economies of scale is running fine. So I think there is a lot of tweaking to be done. I think from an OEM perspective, I think the verdict is out there. Should you have, let's say, an EV built on an ICE platform, or should these two be completely different platforms? Um, yeah, as a tier one, I think my life is far less complicated. I think Nagharajhan here would be under a lot more stress. But yeah, so we are just looking to see who's perfecting it better, and then see if we can have a let's say look and learn kind of an impact.
That was very insightful and thoughtful, Satish. I think in interest of time, I think I'll jump to the closing question to all three of you. What's your vision? Let's say how digital technologies will reshape the relationship between OEM dealers and customers. Let's say by 2030.
I can go first. I believe so. My hypothesis is that there are a lot more players because of digitalization or digitization. So you have the traditional OEMs, you have tier ones, tier twos, but now you have engineering services providers, you have organizations like yourselves, you have the cloud players, cloud providers. So I think the ecosystem is getting a bit crowded, and the traditional business stakeholders don't fully understand what's going on. So I think for tier ones and component manufacturers, this is a wake up call. If we don't ride the technology wave, I believe traditional tier one business is going to be in severe, serious danger. And likewise for an OEM, I mean, depending upon whether the world shifts to EV or not, I guess there is also going to be an existential crisis. So if you look at the digitally native organizations like the Aethers of the world and compare them, let's say, to the traditional organization like the Marutis, I think there is a vast difference. At the end of the day, the end consumer and the market will decide how this will move forward. But I think for tier ones like ourselves, if we don't embrace digitalization, I predict we will become extinct.
Well, I'll just add quickly and very
That's
rightly
bold
said,
words.
Satish, in a very straightforward words. I'll actually say that people will not have any other option to embrace technology. I think if you really see the complete ecosystem, people and the organizations are going to move towards a connected ecosystem, whatever said and done, because they will realize sooner or later, everyone is going to realize that there is a dependency in how that data exchange and information availability is helping them run faster, is what everyone is going to sit on to. One of the biggest challenge that all these organizations will have to look into is the literacy of people and employees in their organization, and especially the traditional ones, on digital adoption and looking at the data side, because connections will be still made. How does the data utilization and the digital utilization comes across is lot depends on the digital education that they will have to go through. So I think, yeah, my say is that people have to be prepared. There's no other option, but they will have to prepare the people.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Satish, and thank you, Ashish. See, to me, like perception is a little bit different. So, see, like maybe considering the theme of this call, like digitization is again, it is no more a awkward business. It should be a embedding business, whether it is a manufacturing industry or the IT industry or maybe a medical industry, whatever it is. So digitization, it is embedded. It is going to be embedded, or it should be embedded. So there is no second idea or second thought saying uh, whether we have to take it or not to take it. So that is my first perception. And second perception, like by 2030, like based on the theme of today's call, it will be more closer to the consumers. Okay, so like there is no hidden things. Things will be more transparent, and things will like give more opportunities for your consumers, how it is being produced, how it is being validated, how it is being again tested, and so on and so forth. So whatever it is. So by 2030, the digitization again, it will be at a mass scale where everything is focused towards the consumers, who is going to carry the pride and who is going to carry the values of their own product which they are owning. Yeah.
I think this was an insightful session, Ashna. Should we open up for question? I think thank you first of all. I think thank you all for joining us. I think I've really enjoyed the session. I think we can open up for questions, Ashna. Over to you.
Yes, keeping the time in mind, maybe we can just take a couple of questions, and we can just like quickly wrap up in the next 5 minutes. I'll take up the first question that we have received. Dealerships often deal with same customers across sales, service, and finance, but most systems will treat each as a separate transaction. How can technology, maybe even AI, help connect these better?
It's simple. That we'll have to bring things together. The customer is same. That has been a historical problem where you start treating things separately. But I think the world has moved towards a single platform, all those areas. And AI has actually a power where consolidating and understanding and making a sense of this data and bringing it back to anyone in the sales service, even the customer, is very simple now, even if the data resides at multiple places. So I think that one particular problem can be solved in multiple ways. Is like you get into a single platform, even if you're not able to get there. I think analytics and AI has the power to bring that information back.
Sure. Thank you, sir. Satish sir, Nagharajhan sir, if you would like to chime in quickly.
No, I fully agree. That's the only way to go.
Yeah, me
Okay.
too.
Sure. I'll quickly move on to our next question. From a customer perspective, I've started seeing chatbots on dealer websites and quicker follow-ups. Are dealerships really using AI behind the scenes? A follow-up question to the same question. Can AI-driven interactions actually improve the buying experience, or do people still prefer dealing with a human, especially for big purchases like car?
I'll go if it's okay.
Sure.
I think a chatbot is an attempt. I think it's a good attempt. I cannot speak about the general consumer at large, but I'm a petrol head. I'd like to drive the car to see how it feels. But I think there will be an integration of some form, which means that people will use, let's say, the virtual media more from a configuration perspective and visit the physical showroom to finally have a look to see if what I saw, what I configured is exactly how the car looks like. And I think this is where now we can use AI to understand what kind of configurations were tried out and therefore what needs to be brought onto the showroom. But that's my take.
Thank you, sir. Nagarajan, sir?
Yeah. So actually, like, see, it should not be like a question and answer bot. Okay. So if the question is standard, if the answer is standard, nobody will be interested in using it. Okay.
I agree
It
with
should be
you.
it should be personalized. Okay. So like now people are having access to Insta, having access to Twitter or whatever it is. So it should be personalized and you should have a sentiment of those particular person who is trying to chat with you. So definitely it will take time, but chatbot is really a good option. But see, how you are connecting the particular person is the matter. Okay, so that is how you have to again provide the experience. Just providing some standard answer definitely won't work out. This is my view.
And to be honest, I think I'll like to add to it. All I think all of us are auto buyers in some form and shape. So I think it's a large purchase, right? Chatbot could be the initiation point, but then as Satish rightly mentioned, that somebody has to go to the showroom, see the look and feel. So it could be an initiation point for sure. But since it is a large purchase, I think people would love to have look and feel of the product before taking a final decision.
Sure. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you to all our esteemed panelists for taking our time and joining this session. And thank you to our audience for joining. I really hope that you find these inputs really insightful and keep following LeadSquared for more such sessions. Thank you once again for everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.